continues to roll here at BPW System Overdrive.
I'll tell you what, Terry, I might go get me some Oreo ice cream and come back.
Well, you will not leave before I introduce Owen Jacobs, a newcomer here at Battlefield, but a guy that Luca, you yourself have been very impressed with.
I would never leave in the middle of this kid's entrance. This is Owen Jacobs. I had a hand, and I'll say it here, right here and now. I had a hand on making sure this kid became what he is right now, and that is a machine.
Owen Jacobs certainly a rising star, but coming out with him is someone that is proclaimed to be a rising star, and he certainly shows it each and every time he is out here. It is Bryan Matthews. And Bryan Matthews, one of those young cats looking to make a name for himself here in Battlefield, but this kid is very impressive in what he does. Calls himself the rising star and shows it every single time he is out here. And tonight he's got a huge match with a newcomer in Owen Jacobs as well.
I'll give it to Bryan Matthews. He can jump, he can cartwheel, he can flip. But when you're standing across from Owen Jacobs, look how much man he is. Look at all of that man standing in the ring.
Size advantage is certainly to Owen Jacobs here tonight. Bryan Matthews will have to use every bit of that speed and that leaping ability if he looks to pull out a big victory here tonight. Bryan Matthews, Owen Jacobs, first time ever, here we go. Collar elbow tie up right away. Owen Jacobs showing that strength. Big Beal to Bryan Matthews, and I'm sure Matthews felt that one.
Owen Jacobs already showing the difference between him and Bryan Matthews.
And Matthews showing the speed difference between him and Owen Jacobs, sidestepping a big splash attempt now in the corner. Strikes to Owen Jacobs, and Jacobs out of the corner.
Bryan Matthews might have the speed of a mongoose and might have the reflexes of a cat, but that is a brick wall in Owen Jacobs. A brick wall.
Owen Jacobs continuously put in the corner by Matthews. Matthews would be very wise to keep Owen in the corner, but reverse the pressure, try to chop. Matthews sidestepped again out of the corner, and another big chop.
In my opinion, Matthews would have been very wise to not take this match. Okay? There is a Reckless Whisper with his name on it. Do you know what the Reckless Whisper is?
What is that?
I'm sure you'll find out tonight.
Well, Bryan Matthews never scared of a challenge, but he just got clotheslined and flattened by Owen Jacobs, turning Matthews inside out, and Owen Jacobs now gonna take advantage after a big maneuver like a big clothesline.
Again, showing the difference between him and Bryan Matthews, and that difference is that he is a machine in Owen Jacobs.
Owen Jacobs certainly has a lot of power behind those fists, behind those strikes, big clobber to the shot of the back.
Behind every strike, behind every kick, behind every slam, behind every breath, there is power.
And speaking of breath, it's going to be hard for Matthews to breathe now. Owen Jacobs has him in a bear hug.
Because Owen Jacobs is in the gym. Owen Jacobs is in the dojo, training, honing his skills. He knows, like you should know, if you can't breathe, you can't wrestle.
Well, Bryan Matthews trying to get this crowd behind him, trying to get back to a vertical base as he does, back on his feet. But how much did that take out of Matthews? And oh my gosh, Owen Jacobs just running through Bryan Matthews. And
how can you not be impressed with this guy?
I am.
Look at what you're seeing. How can you not be impressed with this guy?
I never said I was not impressed with Owen Jacobs. He is certainly impressive right now, hitting the ropes and trying a big senton. Matthews able to roll out of the way, and this is the opening that Bryan Matthews needs to get back on his feet.
Does Bryan Matthews have enough in him?
Well, we're gonna find out now. Certainly trying to get behind. Bryan Matthews is this crowd, and Matthews springboard, beautiful Meteora, double stomp, right to the chest.
What is Bryan Matthews doing? Bryan Matthews should have jumped on Owen Jacobs for that cover.
Bryan Matthews trying to figure out his next move, big knee right to the side of the head.
But is it enough? Is it enough?
Well, Bryan Matthews going up top, trying to get this crowd behind him, looking to take a big lead. Beautiful frog splash from the top and a kick out at 2.
And it's still not enough. And it's still not enough to take out Owen Jacobs. How about that? There is a big difference between these two men. Big, and I mean big difference.
That was a beautiful big-time frog splash from Bryan Matthews, but as you said, the big difference is showing Owen Jacobs still back to his feet, and Matthews, insecurity, after his leg was caught by Jacobs. Jacobs a little woozy.
That's a lot of wood to chop down.
Matthews again, looking to climb up top. Jacobs following him, getting a kick to the mush. And Matthews all the way up top, maybe looking for another big lead. And Jacobs throwing referee Steven Z into the corner. And Matthews having to leap prematurely. And now Jacobs.
And that is
down.
what you call a reckless whisper.
The reckless whisper by Jacobs. And he gets his first W here at Battlefield Pro Wrestling.
And it was a great W. It was a well-earned W by a man who has put his work in the gym, in the dojo, that has honed his skills. I told you at the beginning of this match, there is a big, and I mean big, difference between Owen Jacobs and Bryan Matthews, and Bryan Matthews just learned what that big difference is.
Well, Bryan Matthews has nothing to be ashamed of. He put up a great fight here. But this is going to be a night that Bryan Matthews is going to have to try and forget about.